Hello everyone, Jason Meyer here to give you an overview of the Apprentice program. My goal is to help you develop your ability to create beautiful art. Today we're going to be going over the foundation of the program. The workflow is how we will all stay connected as we work at our own pace and skill level. It gives us a chance to address every aspect of creating a composition. If you are new to the workflow, I would suggest following along very closely and almost mimic my work. As you begin to understand which problems to solve at which step of the workflow, then you can begin to break away from exactly what I'm doing. Once you're confident and have some experience, then you can use the workflow to imagine and create your own compositions from start to finish. The workflow is the foundation of the Apprentice program and makes clear communication between you and I easier. Maya Angelou wrote, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." So working virtually side by side, we do the best we can while we know and do better and better. We learn to work, then we work to learn. There are 3 parts to our workflow. Each part has several steps. First, we prepare for the composition. Next, we execute the composition. And finally, we bring it all to a finish. The first step in preparing for the composition is to gather source material and ideas. Both the source material and the ideas should pertain to a painting idea specifically. It takes a little experience to know a painting idea from any other kind of idea, and even more experience to know a good painting idea from a bad one. I'm here to help guide you through those decisions. From our source material and ideas, we develop a 4-value compositional study or sketch. It is a great exercise in judgment. Taking everything and condensing it all down to 4 value shapes requires more skill in editing than technical proficiency in drawing. We are beginning to think in terms of paint, specifically 4 simple paint masses. This is a key step in moving from the real world of things, where we have no control, to the abstract world of paint, where we are in total control. Choosing a color scheme and assigning colors to the 4 values of our compositional study gives color harmony to our work. We do not want to fall into the common trap of trying to paint by matching color. Beautiful art does not come from matching. It comes from the building up of harmonies. The importance of working on a dry, stained canvas simply cannot be overstated. I recommend staining the canvas and giving it enough time to dry before continuing. The first part of the workflow is complete when your idea is clear and your materials are ready. When your idea is clear and your materials are ready, it's time to move on to part 2 of our workflow. The execution of the composition. We are only going to begin painting once we are prepared with our mind and materials in order. Size and placement of the big shapes is the first step of part 2. The size and variety of the big value shapes give the painting its design. We already worked out the design questions and problems with our 4-value compositional study. So the main purpose of size and placement is to give us a chance to warm up and get in touch with the paint and the surface on which we are working. It is done with very thin, neutral paint. After size and placement, we move on to the lay-in. With thin paint, we lay in the color identity of the big shapes. It may seem obvious and unnecessary at this stage. Later, you'll be thankful that you took the time to work it out. Note that our 4 values may be off at this stage because of the transparency of the thin paint. This is the stage where the rubber meets the road, or the oil meets the linen in our case. Working from dark to light, we paint our shapes the correct color value. Once we have applied paint to the surface, from the darkest paint to the lightest paint, it's time to move on to the final step of executing the composition. Refining is the last step of part 2, executing the composition. Refinement may take just a couple of brush strokes or weeks. Refinement varies greatly depending on the particular artist's taste as well as the particular piece that is being worked. Ultimately, the execution is complete when your composition looks the way you want it to look. When your composition looks the way you want it to look, you are finished with part 2. Not every composition is going to turn out. When that happens, I suggest you set the piece aside for a few months or more and begin something new. After some time, you may be able to see the problems in the piece. Usually, the solution is easy if you can pinpoint the problem and ask the right question. If you are happy with your piece, then you can move on to part 3 of the workflow. The last part of the workflow is the finish, not as in finishing the execution of the composition, but as in photographing the piece, varnishing and framing it, announcing to the world that a new piece of art has been born and should be celebrated. Let's wrap up with a quick review of the 3 parts of our workflow. Preparation for the composition is part 1. The second part is the execution of the composition. And of course, the last part is the finish. We prepare, execute, finish, and then begin again. By helping you grow your understanding, sensitivity, and awareness, your skill and proficiency as an artist will naturally improve as we work together. Your level of engagement will be the biggest factor in your growth. I'm here to help. It is up to you to engage and do the work the best you can, and let me know if and when you get stuck, confused, or lost. We oftentimes feel lost or confused just before getting to the next level of understanding. Be patient and kind with yourself. It'll be a better journey. That is the overview of our workflow, the foundation of the Apprentice program. It is designed to keep us connected so that we can grow, to know, and do better and better as we work. We learn to work, then we work to learn. To start your journey to making beautiful art, join us in the Apprentice program. I look forward to working and growing with you.